All right, welcome back to the Beast Game Podcast. This is going to be a review for Death Note. The director is Adam Wingard. The writers are Charlie and Vlas Parapaladines. And it stars Nat Wolff, Lakeith Stanfield, and Margaret Qualley. And the synopsis is a high school student named Light Turner discovers a mysterious notebook that has the power to kill anyone whose name is written within the pages and launches a secret crusade to rid the world of criminals. And James,
Yes.
what is your view on Death Note?
Really don't know that much about Death Note. I know it's based off of anime. I did a little bit of research on it, and it just seemed that the anime is just 1,000 times better than what we saw on this Netflix original. It was not a good movie. It kind of fit in the category of teen screams, and they try to make it like Final Destination.
Yeah.
And also try to make it like, what was that movie I saw at the beginning of the year? Wish Upon. It is very Wish Upon-ish. So I am not a fan of this movie, but I do like the premise. I do like the concept of it. And just like the acting was really, really, really bad. And some of it was even over the top and comical. The only thing that was really good about this movie was Ryuk. I liked the portrayal from William Dafoe. He did a great job. I'm just going based off of what I saw in the anime and the little clips I've seen. He hit it spot on, the way he was talking and everything. That was good, but everything else was not okay at all. I would not recommend this to anyone.
So I'm just going to say that Death Note is tone deaf the same way that Ghost in the Shell was, that this anime to American live actions can work. If you take a look at Edge of Tomorrow, this movie, on the other hand, is 2 hours of nothing. To echo something that James said, Ryuk, who was played by Willem Dafoe, or at least voiced by Willem Dafoe, is probably the best part about that. That's all I can say.
They deviated so much from the source material and from what the characters seemed like they were in the anime. It just seemed that what made Death Note special, they took it away. And that's the biggest problem with this movie. I'm not saying do fan service, but at least get something that's on the same lines of the actual source material. It doesn't have to be pinpoint, but at least keep it close to it. It just was totally left field.
So, like, basically, Death Note, the anime and the comic book, was more of a psychological thriller,
right?
Rather than a thriller. Even though it had supernatural elements in it, it was more or less focused on the character of I guess the guy's name was Light. Was that his name in the movie?
Yeah.
Okay, so it was mostly focused on Light and how he is this extremely intelligent kid, but he basically falls into the role of privileged, intelligent. He's an upper class individual who sees the world through his lenses and decides when he gets his power to take
matters into his own hands,
basically.
Right.
And the course of the manga and the anime, he actually does do good. Like, he actually does attain power, but that ends up corrupting him. So he ends up turning into a complete asshole towards the end.
What you're describing sounds like he's a very smart, very intelligent, very articulate, just a well-to-do kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
The way he is in the Netflix movie, well, he's very smart, but yeah, he's kind of a pussy.
Yeah, because in one of the beginning scenes, he gets bullied, and that is what kind of starts off with all of this.
He just seemed really, really soft, basically manipulated by his girlfriend.
Yeah.
To me, it was not a good movie, especially compared to the anime. And from what I've seen, his girl was very dedicated to him in the anime. She was a ride or die. This girl just seemed like she was just
along for the ride.
Right.
They switched her up because, like, one of the criticisms about the character, she wasn't a very strong character. She was like devoted to this guy, and they, thought that was weak. They wanted her to be a stronger character, I guess. So I screwed the pooch on it. So,
all right. So James, I have a question for you.
Yep, I know where you're about to go. Go ahead, let's go.
The director is also the director of Blair
Witch. Yeah, I know. Because you know what I did after this movie ended, right? I said, who the fuck directed this shit?
Wait. We got a podcast for a movie directed by the one movie that I gave a, what did I give it? Did I give it a 0 or 1? I'm pretty sure I only gave it points for, like, the unintentional hilarity of the movie.
Oh, God.
And then James reneged on his bet on.
I did not renege. I was out of town, man.
So James gave Blair Witch 2016 a 0.5. Keith, you gave it a 2.5.
Yes, because I thought it was hilarious.
I'm actually surprised that he made back on this podcast, but I'll be damned. I watched this movie and I was like, I gotta see who directed this shit. And I saw his name. I said, hold on, that's the dude that directed Blair Witch. He also did an episode in VHS 2.
I believe so. My question to you is, which one is better? Blair Witch or Death Note?
If you have to think about it, acceptable answers, they were both terrible, and you can't think of them.
No, you don't understand what I saw. They're about the same, man. They both shit. Because you know what? All right. The same reason I gave Blair Witch a 0.5 is the same reason why I'm giving this around about the same score. It had moments of comedy. Like Blair Witch was a horrible movie. Horrible movie. I apologize to Keith. You know, there's no tomorrow. That movie is horrible. And the only thing that was redeemable was the comedic parts of that movie. That's it. That's the 0.5. And in this movie, it has some comedic elements, especially the part when Light first saw Ryuk and he was screaming. That was hilarious. Also, not even the comedic parts, the acting of William Dafoe. That's it. So because of those two things, it'll get a slight edge over Blair Witch.
All right. So let's get the scores. James, what score would you give Death Note?
A 0.5. Same score as Blair Witch. This movie was a bad movie. I'm glad that it came to Netflix, because if it went to the movie theaters, I probably would have gone and see it, and I would have probably walked out. The premise was not a bad premise. They could have did something with it, which would have been great, but because it became a teen angst horror film, and it was just over the top, just teen screams. I mean, don't get me wrong, some teen screams movies are pretty good, but this one was not one of them. It just wasn't worth it. The characters were weak. There was a forced connection between the two main characters, and the only thing that was redeemable about this movie was Ryuk. That is it.
All right. So my score is going to be a 1. For the reason that James said, Ryuk is probably the best thing about this movie, and everything else is completely terrible. The acting is subpar.
There's a lot of overacting too.
Yeah.
A lot of overacting.
And it tries to toe the line. Sometimes it's slightly comedic. Sometimes it's just not sensible for a person to watch. It's like, all right, this is just corny.
Yeah. It took me at least 2 tries to watch this movie. 2 to 3, I think. And
on top of that, it's 2 hours. It's 2 hours of this cornball acting. You have to sit there and wait for it to end.
You know what this is? This is Degrassi or Dawson's Creek had the Death Note. This is what this is. I'm not even joking. Dawson has the Death Note. And then I don't know the other girl's name and all this other stuff. And this movie came out, I'm going to say 1998, like 2001. Right in that time frame. This would have made money. But right now, it's no.
And the problem is the way that Japanese culture works in the anime, but it does not work in live action. It does not work in a American sense.
Man, I swear, anytime Hollywood makes anime, somehow, some way, it's horrible.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
And this is horrible. And this is Beast Game Podcast. You can find more of our podcasts at beastgame.com, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube.
I don't even want them to touch Akira. I mean, there's rumors of them actually thinking about doing Akira.
Yeah, they might as well just do it and get it over with. They would talk about that shit for like 20 years.
No, but Ghost in the Shell is a prime example of what not to do.
They cannot do Akira, man, because if they mess that up, you can't mess Akira up. I mean, shoot, they already messed up Fist of the North Star.